Hello everyone. In today's video lecture we will discuss about last part of this epidemiology chapter. In that we will discuss principles of disease control and prevention. Communicable diseases can be controlled and prevented by adequate measures which involve diagnosis, notification, isolation, treatment, quarantine, investigation, disinfection, blocking of transmission, immunization, and health education. These 10th principles or communicable disease can be controlled and prevented by adequate measures: diagnosis, notification, isolation, treatment, quarantine, investigation, disinfection, blocking of transmission, immunization and health education. So आपण वन बाय वन एक एक बघूया. त्याच्यामध्ये आहे डायग्नोसिस. इट इज फर्स्ट स्टेप इन द कंट्रोल ऑफ डिसीज. द डिसीज शुड बी डायग्नोस्ड अँड ट्रीटेड इमिडिएटली अँड इफेक्टिवली. दिस विल प्रिव्हेंट द स्प्रेड ऑफ एन इन्फेक्शन. नोटिफिकेशन इन दॅट ॲज सून ॲज डिसीज इज detected, it should be notified immediately to the local health authority. This helps in taking immediate preventive measures to control the spread of the disease. Third one is isolation. The infected patient must be isolated in hospital or at home. If hospitalization is not possible, the period of isolation depends on the period of communicability of the disease. Then isolation of the infected patient prevents the spread of infection. Then fourth one is treatment. Treatment should be given to the infected patient and also to the carrier of the infection. Sometimes all people in the community are treated even if they do not have the disease. These measures effectively prevent the spread of infection. Then fifth one is quarantine. It means isolation of healthy and normal persons till the incubation period of disease is over. These healthy persons might have come in contact with the disease without actually suffering from it. So quarantine is necessary to prevent the spread of infection from these persons to others who have not been exposed to diseases. Quarantine is necessary for international travelers who have the possibility of carrying infections. Investigation. The health authorities should conduct field investigation of infected person and also infected areas. Suspected and also infected cases must be confirmed by laboratory tests. Disinfection. Disinfection of the excreta and articles used by the patient will prevent the spread of infection. Disinfection must be done both when the patient is suffering from the disease and after recovery of death. Then eighth one, in that blocking or transmission. Most of the disease spread through water, air and insect, so adequate measures should be taken to prevent the spread of infection through these channels. In that waterborne infections can be prevented by boiling water and also milk. Airborne infections can be prevented by wearing masks, isolating the patient in a separate room, dust control and disinfection of air. Insect-borne diseases can be prevented by using suitable insecticides. Immunization. It is a very effective and easy method by which communicable diseases can be prevented. The diseases which can be effectively controlled by immunization are smallpox, poliomyelitis, diphtheria, whooping cough, tetanus, tuberculosis and measles. Then health education. The public should be taught about the importance of maintaining a clean environment. Then immunization, clean environment, immunization, etc. It involves the responsibility of paramedical persons and the cooperation of the public. Then hospital acquired infections. In that hospital acquired infections or nosocomial infections. These are infections developing in hospitalized patients which were not present at the time of their admission. These infections produce their symptoms either during hospital stay or after discharge. These infections may occur during diagnostic or treatment procedures. Factors predisposing for hospital infections: impaired defense, mechanism of the patient due to diseases. Then contaminated hospital environment in asepsis in hospital procedures, resistance of hospital infections to drugs and antibodies, increased risk of infection from the other patients. These factors predisposing for hospital infections. Then types of hospital infections, in that wound infections like those of post-operative wound, infectious, and infections caused by injections. Then urinary tract infections which may occur due to catheterization. आता catheterization, a hollow partially flexible tube that collects urine from bladder and leads to drainage bag. Then respiratory infections which occur due to aspiration, pulmonary ventilation or instrumentation. Then bacteremia and spasmia which are caused by infected intravenous cannulae. These are the types of hospital infections. Then prevention and control, in that diagnosis by routine bacteriological methods like smear, culture and sensitivity testing. When an outbreak occurs, the source is identified and eliminated. The sources may be hospital staff, water, air or food. Sterilization techniques must be tested. A defective autoclave or sterilizer must be repaired or replaced. Infection control teams may be established in hospitals. These teams should consist of microbiologists, doctors, nurses, and hospital administrators. This team should investigate outbreaks. Also, it should monitor admission, treatment, sterilization, and disinfection. Then disinfection. Definition, in that disinfection is defined as the destruction of all pathogenic organisms or organisms capable of giving rise to infection. Then disinfectant is a substance disinfectant or germicide is a substance which destroys harmful microbes, not usually spores, and thus prevent the transmission of disease. Then antiseptic is a substance which destroys or inhibits the growth of microorganism. A disinfectant in low concentrations acts as an antiseptic. Antiseptics can be safely applied on living tissues. Detergent is a cleaning agent which acts by lowering the surface tension. Example is soap. Then deodorant. Deodorant is a substance which suppresses bad odor. Example is bleaching powder. Then types of disinfection. Disinfection can be classified as concurrent disinfection, terminal disinfection, and precurrent disinfection. Concurrent disinfection, it is the disinfection of the infectious agent as soon as it is discharged from an infected ionizing person. It also applies to disinfection of articles soiled with such a discharge. Concurrent disinfection is done for urine, feces, clothes, dressings, etc. throughout the course of illness. Then terminal disinfection. It is done when the patient has died or has been discharged from the hospital. It is rarely practiced at present. Terminal cleaning is sufficient. Then precurrent or prophylactic disinfection, it is prevention of an infection by chlorination of water, pasteurization of milk, and hand washing, etc. Then classification of disinfectant, in that natural disinfectant and air and sunlight. Then physical disinfectant, heat and radiation. Then chemical disinfectants, in that lime, potassium permanganate, bleaching powder, formalin and phenol. Then first one is air. Air kills microorganisms by drying them. Then sunlight, the ultraviolet rays of sunlight kill microorganisms. Then heat, it can be produced by burning hot air and boiling and steam. Then burning can disinfect dressings and swabs. Hot air can disinfect dressings, swabs and glasswares. Boiling kills microorganisms including spores, linen utensils, instruments and glassware can be sterilized by boiling. Then steam destroys microorganisms and spores. Then sterilization of instruments and dressings is done by steam. Then radiation, it can be done by ionizing radiations and ultraviolet light. Then ionizing radiation and ultraviolet rays. Ionizing radiations, they have a great penetrating power. Also, they do not produce a heating effect on the object to be sterilized. Ionizing radiations can be utilized for sterilizing catgut, dressings and surgical instruments. In ultraviolet rays, they have a poor penetrating power. Also, they take a long time to produce complete sterilization. Then ultraviolet rays can be used for sterilizing hospitals and operation theaters. Then fifth one is lime. It is used in the form of quicklime and milk of lime, which is an aqueous suspension. Lime is used for disinfecting feces and also for white washing. And bleaching powder, it is used for disinfecting feces, urine, sputum, pus and water. Then potassium permanganate. It is used in the form of a weak solution. It disinfects contaminated vegetables and fruits. Then formalin, it is used in the form of a liquid or gas. It is used for disinfecting rooms, walls and furnitures. Then ninth one is phenol. Pure phenol occurs in the form of crystals. It is highly corrosive. However, crude phenol, which contains some cresol, can be used for disinfecting feces. Then disinfection of feces and urine. Feces and urine should be collected in impervious vessels. Feces should be broken with a stick before disinfection. An equal volume of quicklime or freshly prepared milk of lime is added. It is mixed well and left for 2 hours. Then later the whole thing is emptied into water closest or buried in the ground. Disinfection of sputum. Sputum may be received in paper, handkerchief or gauze and destroyed by burning. If the amount is more, it is disinfected by boiling or autoclaving. Alternatively, the patient may be asked to spit in a sputum cup filled with 5% cresol. When the full, it is allowed to stand for an hour. Then the cup or container is emptied. Then disinfection of room, in that usually through cleaning, airing and exposure to sunlight is enough. For disinfection, floors and walls mop or sprayed with chlorinated lime or formaldehyde solution. Rarely fumigation can be done with formaldehyde. Disinfection of linen soiled with excreta should be first soaked in 10% formalin or 5% phenol. Such a linen and other linen are then boiled or autoclaved. Then disinfection of instruments. Blunt instruments can be disinfected by boiling or autoclaving. Sharp instruments like knives and scissors are treated with chemical disinfectants like Lysol or carbolic acid. Syringes can be autoclaved or boiled in plain water. Then disinfection of instruments, in that blunt instruments can be disinfected by boiling or autoclaving. Sharp instruments like knives and scissors are treated with chemical disinfectants like Lysol or carbolic acid. Syringes can be autoclaved or boiled in plain water. Disinfection of dead bodies, it is done by embalming, which is the most effective method. The solution used for embalming has the following composition, in that formalin 40%, 2 to 3 liters, glycerin 3 liters, alcohol 1 liter, common salt 1 kilogram and carbolic acid 60 ml. It is made up to 10 liters with water. So 10 liter of this solution is used for one dead body. This solution is pumped through femoral artery. Dead bodies disinfected by this method resist decomposition and are stable even beyond 20 years. सो हा आपला इथे चॅप्टर संपलेला आहे आणि आपला सिलेबससुद्धा इकडे बायोलॉजी चॅप्टर संपलेला आहे आणि सिलेबससुद्धा आपला हेल्थ एज्युकेशन अँड कम्युनिटी फार्मसीचा इथे संपलेला आहे. तुम्हाला काही शंका असेल तर तुम्ही विचारू शकता. सो थँक्यू.